Well, I'm glad today is the last day that I have to see him. Um, for his comfort, um, all the agencies that I mentioned, I thanked all of them. Chief Albino, Detective Callie, Detective Carver, he's retired, but he's always in my heart. They basically give me comfort a lot, along with my family and close friends and my best friend. Um, right now, we still got another hump we have to cross, which is this other trial with Ebony Wiley that allegedly supposed to take place October. So we still on that battlefield.
The judge mentioned your strength during all of this, and so I sat there and listened to what you both had to say, and I'm sure other people were wondering, how did you manage the strength that you exhibited during all of this?
You want to answer that?
Yeah,
A lot of people speak on faith. You gotta stand on faith.
that's
It just ain't speaking on it. It's a belief. It's a way of life. So it's just put your faith in God. A lot of people say that, but they don't do that. He gonna take it because we as humans can't take it ourselves. So we go to him and we ask him to take what we can't stand ourselves. And I did that. And he removed that away from me. And that's why I told Granville, I have no ill wills towards you. I once was you. I once was a monster. I came in and out of these courtrooms. But since I went to God and asked for forgiveness, I've never been back here since. So you got to put it in somebody else's hand to take that pressure that you can't take. 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, phone calls. It got to the point where I didn't even want to talk to her because all she talked about was my baby, and I ran from her. Instead of me comforting her, I couldn't look her in the eyes. I couldn't stop her from crying. So I had to turn my back. When she come to me crying 2, 3 o'clock in the goddamn morning, I had to turn and walk away. But I went to God and asked God to give me the strength because I had to be strong for both of us. And he did that. That's why I know ill wills toward him. I once was him. I once was a monster. And I went to God and God changed me. So that's what he needed to do. That's what he needed to do. People talk about God. People talk about faith. People play with God. But if you go to him sincere, he'll change your life and make your life so wonderful.
Alicia, was justice served today?
yes, yes, it was,
I realize nothing.
and I'm still struggling with forgiveness. I know I one day have to forgive, but I am still struggling with that. And yes, I did wear all black to bury him. And if I'm not here, I want my family, my friends, even everyone that was involved in the case, carry on for me, make sure that justice is actually served up to that day. I also wear her Hello Kitty, represent, she loved Hello Kitty. So I represent my child. And this is her face. And this face is not going to go away. Every appeal, I will be here. As long as I have breath in my body, I will be here. Anytime he try to appeal, he's going to see this face. This face is going to represent Sugar Plum. That was my junior. I named her after me.
I realize nothing brings her back, but does today give you some measure of closure?
Yes, it does. It does. It's been a long 6 years. And I mean, a long 6 years that Miss Jennifer Johnson had to put up with me, Mr. Harmon,
Where's she at
Miss
anyway?
Kimberly Hyman, you know,
She right here.
and I commend them for basically getting in mother mode or father mode because I'm pretty sure they have kids too. And I also, like I commend Chief Albino. He goes, I see the flowers. He goes out there and visit my child too, our child too, sometimes out there at her grave. And I keep the cards and everything. And, you know, I just appreciate everyone that has been there for me. My children's family, back there, all my children's family.
You don't forget about her.
My best friend, Miss Kimberly Adams. She's been there all the way with me. You know, she's family. So, I just, you know, just thank everyone that's involved, everybody I called out, all the state attorneys, even the judge. She took off her robe and went into mama bear mode, you know. And, you know, this is as heinous as it gets. So, you know, that's why I thank her. I had to thank her because it could have went another whole way. Those few weeks that, you know, they had to put up with me.
Jerome, he did the worst possible thing one can imagine to a parent. Why was it important for you to tell him that you forgive him, that you love him, and ask him over and over again to plead for forgiveness to God? Why was that important? This might be the last conversation you're ever going to have with him. Why was that important to you?
Because I once was him. I didn't go to the state that he went to. I didn't do the things that he did, but I once was him. I was a monster. So it took for me to lose my baby to change my way of thinking. Is it sad to say that? No, because I wish I could have still have. But if it took for me to lose that to gain my life back, then she ain't died for no reason.
And what are you hoping your words do to him?
I hope he get a better understanding with God, because that's the only person can save him. Like I said, a lot of people talk about God, but all they do is talk. You don't talk about him, you feel him. The same way you eat, the same way you drink. It's a part of your life. That's what I got inside of me. Every day that I get up, I give him thanks because I was not supposed to be here. He allowed me to be here, to see for my child when I was not there for her. Be there for my family. So I have no ill wills towards him because he's only a mere man. A lot of people make mistakes in life, and some people's mistakes are worse than others. So how can I judge him when I once was him? That's why I tell him to get a better understanding with God so he can change from what he used to be. Because I done it. And ever since that day, I ain't did nothing but been receiving blessings after blessings. So I have no ill will. It's not for me to judge him. All I can do is tell him what I told him. I forgive you. I have no ill will toward him whatsoever. That's the Christian thing to do.
Put this on you, all that look in your mouth.
What's in my mouth?
Oh, we still talking.
You guys are all set. You can come back out. You're all set.
Come on.
Okay.
Feel like he's scared.
Off the earring.
Stay losing earrings.
Before we get off here.
Yeah, you can stand with me. We'll be okay.
Andrew, was justice served today?
I mean, let's put the day in context for a moment. In Florida, we reserve the death penalty for the worst of the worst offenders. And if the brutal rape and murder of a 9-year-old doesn't meet that definition, then I don't know what does. Let me thank my team in the state attorney's office, the prosecutors, victim assistants, our investigators, our support staff who were able to secure justice today. I want to thank Chief Albano, everyone at Temple Terrace Police for their work in identifying and capturing this murderer. I want to acknowledge the professionalism of the defense attorneys who've been involved throughout the case. And I want to thank Felicia, you and your family for the patience that you've shown, for the trust and confidence that you've put in my office to deliver whatever justice we could today. And this is a brutal, horrific crime that meets that highest standard for when capital punishment, when the death penalty is appropriate. And we closed a chapter today, but we know that the pain and the suffering and the loss for Felicia and for her family will continue. And I ask that the community continue to keep Felicia and her family in mind. And I hope that the justice we delivered today brings a few rays of light to the darkness that I know you've endured for the past 6 years.
To the same question.
Well, first I say your name because a lot of people don't know who you are.
Ken Albano, I'm the police chief in Temple Terrace.
It's been a long time coming, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. Yes, it has. And I do believe that justice was served today. It is, as Mr. Warren said, the most heinous of heinous crimes. Even more so when you consider that it was a 9-year-old girl that had to bear it. But I am very proud of all the people that Mr. Warren mentioned, specifically at our agency. Tom Carroll was my lead investigator. Mike Lowell was then the sergeant of the investigations unit, and all the detectives that worked tirelessly to find every shred of evidence that they could. The list that Felicia read off, that's how I said at a press conference 6 years ago that meet the greater Temple Terrace Police Department. And that's what we do here in the Tampa Bay area, here in Hillsborough County. We bring to bear the full resources of every partner we can to do every bit of investigative work that we can to provide our state attorney with the very best case we can so that he and his team can do what they successfully did in this courtroom a year ago, and that's to get a guilty verdict. And so very thankful for the men and women that serve in Temple Terrace, the assistance that we received, and certainly for our state attorney's office and the courts for that matter. This was, bar none, and the judge commented on the professionalism, it was a very well tried case on both sides.
Andrew, can I ask, what do you think was the most compelling piece of evidence that left the jurors originally toward guilty and then death sentence, and then today the court upholding that recommendation? What do you think did it?
The work that Chief Albano and his team put together to build a really strong case of both direct and circumstantial evidence. I don't think there's any single piece of evidence that that convicts a person, and in this case is no different. In terms of the sentence, I think when you look at her age, the rape, the disregard for her body, and how she was disposed of like she was not even a human being, this is the appropriate sentence.
I think he is.
Thank you.